Want a chance to travel to Boston and watch the Orioles play at Fenway Park? For your chance, play Strike It Rich scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery and enter your non-winning tickets online by July 10th at 9 a.m. at mdlottery.com/strikeitrich.
And tonight I'm spending the night in one of the 10 most haunted buildings in the world, which happens to be right here in Baltimore, Camden Station. And we are down in the basement here, and I'm sleeping in the Negro Leagues bus exhibit. And I'll let you know what happens.
Welcome back to Inside PressBox. That's our ghost hunter, Charlie Vascellaro, as he prepared to hunt a few of those spirits at Sports Legends Museum. Earlier this week, Charlie and I talked about his experiences that night, so let's take a look and a listen. And I'm here with Charlie Vascellaro, who authored or penned the cover story for the June issue of PressBox, The Living Spirits. What's it, Chasing Ghosts, Memories, and Dreams?
Yeah, we were having a little bit of all that there that night.
Now, tell us a little bit about what that evening was like. Of course, we arranged with Mike Gibbons, the proprietor there, the director of the Babe Ruth and Sports Legends Museum, to have you sleep over there. And we arranged to have Roland Heeman, great baseball historian and longtime general manager of the Orioles. So tell us from there what this experience was like.
Well, I have to say the best part was being able to spend so much time just with Roland, because he's a museum exhibit himself. Just picking his brain all night was a joy. I will say that going into the place, there was a little bit of anxiety and nervous apprehension. I had heard a lot of tales and stories about people, having kind of haunting experiences in there. Some people didn't want to go on the record about it. They were either frightened or nervous,
traumatized, or something like that,
or maybe afraid of appearing insane. Because I think sometimes when you mention that you saw a ghost or you thought about seeing a ghost, people look at you a little funny. But people have told me stories there.
Now, we've had this idea at PressBox for about 4 or 5 years, based on that movie. I think it was called Night at the Museum with Ian McGregor. But we came up with this idea based on, a website out of Toronto or something?
Yeah,
rated the Sports Legends Museum specifically as one of the top 10 scariest buildings.
Yeah, it came up on a newspaper website. I think the paper's called the Toronto Star. And, it was brought to the attention of the people at the museum that they felt that this building was spooked. And I don't think this hauntings that in the building have anything to do with sports, so to speak. The building's got such a history, and it's really got a lot of Civil War history, and also some railroad worker union labor strife history. So there was some violence that happened in and around this building.
And also, even if the violence didn't happen there, I think bodies during the Civil War were sort of stored there briefly or something.
Civil War dead were kept in the catacombs downstairs on the way to being sent wherever they send them. It was also a stop on the Underground Railroad for people. So it's got a lot of rich history. And one of the things I love about that Sports Legends Museum, aside from all of the great stuff that's in the building, is just the building itself. And that it's here in town, and it's been so well preserved. It's such a great landmark.
Great job by our art director, Brad Meerholtz, who works at TBC, Trahan, Burden, and Charles, in conjunction with John Panisi, an illustrator who did an absolutely phenomenal job. And Panisi essentially donated his work in lieu of a payment we're going to make to the Wounded Warriors Project. So I wanted to get that in there.
I was unaware of that. I was completely surprised. I didn't know it was going to be an illustration. I assumed it might be photographs. I think the likenesses are amazing, and it really captures the essence of what went on that night. I remember looking at the picture and I was saying, that's just how it felt. It just felt like that picture looks.
Well, we were looking to chase the ghosts and the nightmares and the dreams and memories. And I think we got a lot on the memories. It was not a particularly scary night, though, was it?
Yeah, maybe we were so ready for it, and it doesn't happen when you're ready for it, I guess. I tried to position myself and Roland in what I thought was the spookiest part of the museum, where I had heard stories about things happening and people seeing things. The guy who was kind of chaperoning us that night told a story about imagining a dog going by. There's no dogs allowed in that building, and there would be no reason to have a dog in the building. But he said he saw a dog go by there one time, right around the corner. And I'm talking about down in the basement, in the lower level, in the Negro Leagues exhibit, which is by one of the exits. It's also my favorite exhibit in the museum. Everybody's got something that they like the best.
And we've got to give thanks to the folks at the Hilton. They loaned us the beds for this evening there. And what kind of night's sleep did you and Roland get, or were you up all night talking about these things, these stories?
The beds were surprisingly comfortable, but first we walked around the museum. We met at our appointed time and place with the guy who's going to show us around. Roland had never been there before, so there was a lot to see.
Roland had never been there. That's right. Yeah. By the time they opened, he had probably been gone from the Orioles, yeah.
So I kind of ran him into the things I thought would be of particular interest to him, especially the Orioles' history. You know, every sport is represented in there, but we were focusing on baseball that night. And so we went through the Orioles Hall of Fame, and he was looking at these cases, these glass cases that have names and pictures, and he was most interested in the guys he had wheeled and dealed for.
Yep.
Guys he acquired in trades, guys who he traded to get other parts. He looked at I think it was Mike Bodeker's case, and he goes, "Oh, one of the best trades I ever made, Mike Bodeker for Curt Schilling and Steve Finley." You know, so
that was Brady Anderson.
Brady
Anderson.
Okay.
Curt Schilling.
So he was looking around through that, and that everything was evoking memories in him throughout the evening. When we got downstairs to the Maryland State Sports Hall of Fame, which I really love, and there were some great things in there for both of us. I didn't know Jimmy Fox was Roland's childhood hero as a ball player. We saw him in there, and there was one guy named Bill Werber who I had a lengthy kind of history with.
His illustrations on there in the middle of the picture, yeah.
Great job by John again, evoking that image of Bill Werber. And Bill Werber has something to do with me and Roland actually meeting each other. He's kind of the linchpin in the whole thing, and it's in the story, of course, if people want to read all the details.
Well, that's where we're going to end this right now, and we do urge people to pick up the story either in the print edition of this month's PressBox, June edition, or go to PressBoxOnline.com and you can read all about the living spirits of Sports Legends Museum by Charlie Vascellaro, along with his, who was Don Quixote's partner?
Sancho Panza.
Sancho Panza.
Yeah.
Roland Heeman. And we will be back with more right after this. Go to PressBoxOnline.com and register a youth team in your community for a chance to be highlighted as the PressBox Youth Team of the Month. Sponsored by Sports Authority. Go to PressBoxOnline.com for all the details.